Alright, so in today's video, I want to talk about something that's slowly becoming one of the most important trends in Honkai Star Rail. It's not just new characters, it's not even reruns, it's something that kind of sits in between SP versions of existing characters. If you've been following the recent leaks, trailers, and even looking at what the voice actors are teasing on their own socials, then you might have started to notice a pattern forming. We're not just getting a handful of new characters each patch. We're also starting to see old characters getting completely reimagined. New paths, new elements, new play styles, and sometimes even new lore significance. That's what SP means, special versions of existing characters. And judging by the way Hoyoverse is ramping up lately, these might be the future of the game. So let's dive into what's really going on here. Let's break it all down. What SP characters are, what we already know, what's been leaked, and most importantly, who might be next. And yeah, this isn't just speculation for fun. There's a surprising amount of evidence behind it. You'll see. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description. I've seen a lot of people asking lately, what does SP even mean? Is it special path or something else? So let me clear that up real quick. SP simply stands for special. That's it. It's short for special version, a term originally borrowed from Honkai Impact 3rd. It's not referring to the path itself. Instead, it means the character is an alternate version of someone we already know, often with a different path, a new element, and a completely different role in combat. Think of it like a canon what-if scenario, or a multiverse-style twist that's actually grounded in the story. Let's look at the examples we already have. Dan Heng. Imbibitor Looney was technically the first SP-style version we saw, even though it wasn't labeled that way yet. But now, it's official. March 7th and Dan Heng are both getting new SP versions, and they're nothing like their original forms. March's new version, known as Month of Evernight, is a 5-star ice character on the Path of Remembrance. She summons a memo sprite, kind of like a floating spirit pet, that deals ice damage over time and empowers her abilities. Her whole vibe is darker, colder, more serious. It's the same character, but reimagined completely. And she's not free. She's a limited 5-star unit, which already tells you how serious Hoyoverse is about pushing these SPs as premium content. Then we've got Dan Heng's new form, Permansor Terre. He's on the Path of Preservation now and uses physical damage, which is a huge departure from either of his previous forms. His kit is built around shielding allies and summoning a dragon that attaches to one of your units and enhances their performance passively, even while they're off-field. This version is probably going to be free according to multiple leakers, and it's likely tied into the story progression of version 3.6. But what's really interesting is that the character model went through a pretty big change. Initially, the leaks described it as having ancient Greek inspiration, but the devs reworked the design to better match Chinese aesthetics. And this change ties into a much larger pattern we're seeing. That brings us to the upcoming region, Edo Star. It's been described as a cyberpunk Japanese world, neon-lit streets, spiritual tech, and possibly yokai influences. And according to lore leaks, it's deeply tied to the Aeon of Elation, Aha, and potentially even Mythos, a lesser-known Aeon tied to a mysterious path called Enigmata. In other words, this region might be where alternate versions of characters really start exploding, both thematically and narratively. Now here's where things get even juicier. We've got SP Sparkle reportedly coming in version 4.0, and this isn't just a costume change. Her design, as seen around the 230 mark of the Myriad Celestia trailer, shows a fiery, glamorous Sparkle who's now aligned with the Path of Elation and uses fire damage. Her lore has her as an online streamer, very fitting for the Elation vibe. She's also being tested alongside EMC and Yai Sakura, who are also rumored to be Elation units. That's right, Yae Sakura from Honkai Impact 3rd might finally be crossing over and not just as a cameo. This whole setup is starting to look like a full-on multiverse fusion arc. But maybe the most suspicious or exciting case is Sampo. Multiple clues are pointing toward a new SP version of him as well. The Chinese voice actor has saved 800 pulls, which isn't something you do unless you know your character's getting a major rework. Meanwhile, the English VA recently posted on social media saying they're working on something big but can't talk about it due to an NDA. Combine that with earlier leaks that mentioned Sampo becoming an emanator of Aha, essentially a direct representative of the Aeon of Elation, and it starts to feel very real. And honestly, that's terrifying. Sampo with actual cosmic power sounds like the beginning of a chaos speedrun. And there's more. Leaks have also mentioned a new version of Blade, redesigned to match Edo Star's aesthetics. His original form had a samurai vibe, but that's reportedly being replaced by a Chinese-style outfit and lore. Even Dan Heng's SP was changed to better align with that theme, suggesting Hoyoverse is fully adapting older characters to fit the cultural identity of new regions, while keeping them fresh for combat and story relevance. Now let's talk about the release, because everything we've mentioned so far, it's all building up to one massive update. Version 4.0, the debut of the next major region, Edo Star. This place has been teased in trailers and leaks for a while now. A glowing, cyberpunk-inspired world with yokai lore and futuristic spiritual tech. And thematically, it's the perfect home for characters tied to Elation, like SP Sparkle, Yae Sakura, and possibly even SP Sampo. Everything about it screams chaos, neon, and multiverse weirdness, which is exactly what you'd expect from a region under the influence of the Aeon Aha. So when's it happening? Based on the standard update cycle and multiple reliable leakers, 4.0 is expected to launch around January 30th, 2026. That's not officially confirmed yet, but it lines up perfectly with how Hoyoverse has handled previous transitions between worlds. We finish Penacony in 3.7, maybe get some setup in 3.8, and then boom, brand new region to explore. And before we move on, here's a fun little detail that might blow your mind a bit. It's starting to look like our dialogue choices in events are actually influencing what content gets added. I know, sounds crazy, but hear me out. During a story event, players could choose to talk about Kafka or Firefly. Most chose Firefly. And guess what? Even though early leaks suggested Kafka was the one getting a skin, it ended up going to Firefly instead. Same thing happened with Edo Star. Players were given the option to talk about different planets, and most picked Edo Star. Now that just happens to be the next major region we're going to. Kinda sus, right? So yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more SPS in the future, especially for characters who are popular, lore relevant, or flexible enough to fit different paths and elements. Clara, Bronya, even Seal or Jing Yuan, all of them could get reimagined if the story calls for it. What do you think? Do you like this trend of alternate versions and SP reworks? Or would you rather get totally new characters from scratch? Personally, I think it's a great way to keep things fresh, especially when the lore and gameplay actually evolve with the changes. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you want to stay updated on more leaks, theories, and character analysis like this, don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.